going on YouTube? Welcome to another video. We are doing a squat workout, and apparently I forgot to film my warm-up set, which just a plate, and so we're just starting here. So probably no one really cares because I just film the warm-ups just so you can kind of see what's going on, because top sets don't always tell the whole story. So just kind of letting that play here. But yeah, just this is the high bar setting. So this is how I'm shifting and getting some variety and how I'm going to squat, which I've stated a few times before. And I'm using flats again here, which is interesting. I'm not sure. Um, I was switching back and forth. I forgot. There was a point in training, because again, this is months ago, where I decided I'm just going back to the heeled shoes, and that's what I'm doing right now. So it's been a lot better. The flats were feeling good for a while, but I'll go through stages where like I'll want to do one and then the other. And now I'm back to the heeled shoes. So I think I found my balance finally and just really going from there. But it is what it is, as long as I can squat. I do notice I do have a little bit more control, and I do sit back a little bit more, hamstring involvement with the flat shoes. The high heeled shoes, not really high heels, but just like that 3/4 of an inch, they just make getting to depth a little bit easier, so it's less stressful on the shin and ankles. So yeah, I don't know. I used to squat exclusively, and then I switched back. It is very strange, and I don't know. Yeah, just whatever feels good is what I'm going to keep going. Like it's building patterns and allowing myself to lift weights that I need to lift. So yeah, we're just going to go with that and figuring stuff out and going from there. So that was not pretty, but we're good. So I don't know. It's SSB is just from the back. It doesn't look too great. That's why I like really filming from the side, because you get the mirror angle and then my back, and you can kind of see a little bit more consistent. I just have like a turtle shell back or something where it's just not very pretty or whatever, but you can see, I guess when I go down, the calves are doing something. Not the biggest muscle in the body, but there's some shadow-like detail from there. So moving on to deadlifts, and again, like I said, back in my lower body, stuff just makes no sense. So we're just lifting with weights and hoping it turns into something. But yeah, doubles here, or triples actually. I'm sorry, I thought I was only doing two. These are beltless, so pretty decent set. And again, you can notice the lockout issues there, and that's just with my anatomy. I think it's just the long arms, no torso. If I had like a couple more inches of torso, I feel like it'd be smoother. My squat would look better, but you can't change that, so you gotta do what you gotta do. So just finishing the lift here. Yeah, I just kind of gripped unevenly though. So that happens sometimes with deadlifts, where when you're doing over under, like sometimes you'll grip a little bit differently on one side than the other. So you just want to be careful with that. But same principles still apply. I do like doing the hip shoot. I feel like it just really gets my hips underneath, and then I can really pop off the ground. Allows me to brace. It's kind of like a mental cue at this point, where I do one thing, I'll grip the bar, tighten lats, and then shoot my hips through. And on a lot of these deadlifts, I'm noticing a lot of people are deadlifting the first rep up and then maintaining constant tension. So it's not really what a deadlift is. A deadlift is a pull from a complete stop. So if you're loading, if you keep that weight loaded, if you know what I'm talking about, like on the descent, and then you maintain that, I guess you maintain that contraction, that tightness, without resetting, I don't really consider it a deadlift. That's kind of like what touch and go. Like once you do the first rep, it's easier to do the rest because you've already locked in. But the way I like to do deadlifts is from a dead stop, completely release, come back, do another rep, almost treat them as singles. And I feel that's the best way to get pure power and strength off the ground, is to reset after every time. Because if you can maintain that tension throughout the whole time, it's kind of, you've defeated the whole purpose of moving dead weight from a dead stop. Obviously, you can do more reps in the other manner, and I have done those before, just to experiment though, but I just don't get the same level of I don't get the same achievement from doing that. And obviously, I'm not the heaviest deadlifter in the world, but I want that dead stop to know that I can move a weight. If I'm, repping that 45 for sets of 5, touch and go, it's not the same thing as doing 3 sets, dead stop off the floor. So same thing with like the squats here. People are weird with how they do things. They want to like get into a movement. Like they'll they'll load everything up, maintain constant tension, almost like a cable, and then kind of go from there, which I think is totally different. When it comes to strength training, I do think you do need that lockout to really finish the rep, though. And I think the reset and the rep every time is what builds that strength and builds that neuromuscular conditioning. It's different for the bodybuilding when you're really just looking for stimulus and pump. That's kind of when you want that constant tension. Just kind of leads to more muscle growth. But, we're trying to do different stuff here. You'll notice it here. Like, once you unrack something, like if I were to reset after every rep on this machine, it'd be very annoying, and I wouldn't be able to do as many reps, though. So once I get that unlock on here, and then I use that range of motion in a way that I can get the rest of the reps, you get that nice pump without having to reset every time, and it's probably good for longevity of the machine as well. So hybrid rows here, and we're going back to the back workout, working our way up here, and these are moving better than they have in a while. So I do like doing rows. I do have these long arms, though, so sometimes to touch my torso, which I may not make that my standard anymore. I'll just go to where my arms are, where they should be, and kind of go from there. We did the 315 hybrid rows here, which I've been careful about because I am getting some elbow issues and stuff from that, so I got to be careful. And before injury, I used to do the best I ever did was 405 for a double. So obviously not the cleanest form, whatever, but coming back down to 315 is not terrible, but I'm trying to be more strict with these and less body English or whatever. But it's just interesting. I want to go wider on these just so I can get a little bit better contraction, but it's almost like there's only so much bar, so it's just hard to get because I do like to touch torso. So, and I have no torso, so I'm either touching lower stomach or upper chest. No, or lower chest. Somewhere in that area. You can kind of see. I don't know. You'll see where I touch on the mental or barbell rows. It's like right into that hip pelvic area, and that's like a nice contraction. With the lats, I am noticing I do need to go wider and touch lower in order to get a full contraction. The narrower you go and the higher up that you contract, you're doing more of like kind of that Yates row movement. So I want that whole lat engaged, and I feel the stretch definitely better on here. So you really just have to, play around, figure out where you want to be, and that's why I like using the mirror and then, watching the film and doing the feedback here, though. But I'm just not good at doing bent over stuff like this. It's not even the bracing. I just feel uncomfortable. That's why I like the machines and stuff. Like after I do this, the contraction's real nice. I can really focus, dial in, and then go through that full range of motion, pause, or extend it any way that I need to. So you'll kind of see down here where I'll take my time, pause a little bit, let it take me back, control it on the way back, and go from there. And again, not the leanest dude in the world, but all you're seeing is like lats into booty, which is, I don't even know if I have a lower back. Maybe that's the source of all my issues, but at least with the lats, they're very strong. Once I get into a nice, I actually prefer pulling with a thumbless grip. I feel if I add my thumb, I end up activating those wrist and grip weaknesses. So if I think it's called like a monkey grip, where you take it off, I can get a better contraction in the lat, just less limitations in the bicep and the forearm. So that's kind of what I do in these pulling movements. This one's a little bit different because it's an underhand grip, so a little bit more bicep involved. And the rest are usually overhead. Just whatever gets the contraction. Here's a really good shot of like my lats and the stretch. Like when I do the lat pull down, I'll let it stretch like right below, and then I'll kind of come back down. But because there is a mag grip that's too wide for me, it's honestly like painful. So I'm using this middle ground one, and in order to touch my chest, I do have to touch a little bit lower just how long my arms are. But you can see here definitely getting stretch in the lats. It's even stretching my shirt out. And that's been like the basis of like how I've trained lats. It's taken some time to learn, but everyone's built differently. But anyway, that's the video. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one.
Thanks for watching the latest video. If you want to help support the channel, I actually own my own wet shaving and grooming e-commerce website where everything's handmade by me. It's www.apexsoaps.com, and you can get a 10% off code using wet shaver. We've got some cool scents here. We've got some Coca-Cola scents, a horchata scent, traditional barbershop, just some really cool stuff. And you can purchase samples or you can buy the whole set. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via email. Be quick to respond. Thanks for watching.